Hey everyone! Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss the life-changing insights we're sharing today. We're talking about dreams, ambition, and how to take control of your life like a true winner.
If you've ever felt stuck, doubted yourself, or wondered how to reach your full potential, this video is for you. Stick around because by the end, you'll have practical strategies to chase your dreams fearlessly.
Subscribe now and join our community of dreamers and achievers. Let's grow together.
There is a quiet but powerful difference between people who truly dream and those who simply exist. You can see it in their eyes, in the way they speak, in the way they move through the world. Those who dream live with direction. They wake up with purpose. Even on difficult days, they carry an invisible fire inside them. That fire changes everything. When you have a real dream, not a small wish, not a vague hope, but a bold and meaningful vision, your life gains depth. Ordinary moments stop being ordinary. Work is no longer just work. It becomes a step forward. Failure is no longer humiliation. It becomes feedback. Obstacles are no longer walls. They are tests of commitment. People who do not dream often live reactively. They respond to circumstances. They adapt to what is given. They wait for opportunities. But dreamers live proactively. They create. They decide. They act. Instead of asking, what is possible for someone like me, they ask, how can I make this possible? A dream stretches your standards. It forces you to grow beyond your current identity. It demands courage when fear appears. And fear will appear. Doubt will whisper. Comfort will tempt you. But the presence of fear does not mean you are on the wrong path. It often means you are on the edge of growth. A winner is not someone who never fails. A winner is a dreamer who refuses to surrender. Persistence is the true mark of greatness. Anyone can feel inspired for a day. Anyone can start when motivation is high. But only those who hold on to their vision when results are invisible, when progress is slow, when criticism is loud, only they transform their lives. Dreamers understand something powerful. Quitting is more painful than trying. Regret lasts longer than effort. The discomfort of growth is temporary. The pain of abandoning your calling can last a lifetime. When you pursue a dream, you become stronger than your circumstances. Your environment may not change immediately, but you do. You develop discipline. You build resilience. You learn patience. You sharpen focus. And as you change, your world slowly begins to reflect that change. Dreams also protect you from mediocrity. Without a vision, it is easy to settle, easy to shrink, easy to accept less than you are capable of. But when you have something meaningful ahead of you, you refuse to lower your standards. You refuse to live on autopilot. You demand more from yourself. The quality of your life is not determined only by money, status, or comfort. It is determined by meaning, by progress, by alignment between who you are and who you are becoming. A dream gives you that alignment. It pulls you forward when motivation fades. It reminds you who you are when the world tries to define you. In the end, a winner is simply a dreamer who decided that giving up was not an option. Not because it was easy, not because success was guaranteed, but because the dream mattered too much. If you dare to dream and refuse to quit, your life will never be ordinary again. No matter who you are, no matter how confident you appear on the outside, you will face doubt. There will always be internal voices whispering questions into your mind. What if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if this is too big for you? These voices are not a sign that you are weak. They are a sign that you are human. Every person who has ever pursued something meaningful has encountered fear. It shows up when you step outside your comfort zone. It appears when you try something new. It grows louder when the stakes are high. But fear is not an enemy sent to destroy you. It is a natural reaction to growth. Doubt is often the shadow of ambition. The bigger your dream, the louder the questions become. If your goal does not scare you a little, it probably is not stretching you. Fear signals that you are entering unfamiliar territory, and unfamiliar territory is where transformation happens. The mistake many people make is believing that confident individuals do not feel fear. That is not true. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite it. The difference between those who succeed and those who stop is not the presence of doubt. It is their response to it. Internal voices will try to convince you to stay safe. They will remind you of past failures. They will compare you to others. They will exaggerate risks and minimize your strengths. This mental noise can be exhausting, but it is important to understand that thoughts are not commands. Just because a fear appears in your mind does not mean you must obey it. You are allowed to feel uncertain. You are allowed to feel nervous. You are allowed to question yourself. What you are not allowed to do, if you want to grow, is let those feelings control your actions. Fear often tries to protect you from discomfort, but discomfort is not danger. Growth feels uncomfortable because it demands change. It demands that you outgrow old habits, old beliefs, and sometimes even old versions of yourself. That process can feel unstable, yet instability is often the first step toward strength. Instead of fighting fear, learn to understand it. Ask yourself, what is this fear teaching me? What skill do I need to develop? What preparation can I improve? When you shift from panic to curiosity, fear loses its power. Remember, doubt is temporary. Regret can last much longer. If you allow fear to stop you, you may protect your ego in the short term, but you risk limiting your potential in the long term. Most people who look back with disappointment do not regret trying and failing. They regret never trying at all. It is normal to hear the voices. It is normal to question your path. What matters is your choice. You can listen to fear and shrink, or you can acknowledge it and move anyway. Fear will walk beside you on the journey. Just make sure it never takes the lead.
One of the most common mistakes people make is shrinking their vision to fit their circumstances. They look at their bank account, their education, their environment, or their past failures and quietly adjust their dream downward. They make it smaller, safer, more realistic. Over time, what once inspired them becomes something that merely feels manageable. But a dream is not meant to fit into your present reality. It is meant to expand it. When you reduce your dream to match your current situation, you also reduce your potential. You begin making decisions based on limitations instead of possibilities. You stop asking, how far can I go, and start asking, what is acceptable? That subtle shift changes everything. It replaces ambition with compromise. Your current circumstances are temporary. They are a snapshot, not a life sentence. The mistake is believing that where you are now defines where you are allowed to go. Reality is not fixed. It responds to growth. But growth only happens when your beliefs rise above your conditions. Instead of lowering your dream, raise your standards, raise your discipline, raise your thinking. Raise your belief in what is possible for you. Belief is powerful. It shapes your actions, and your actions shape your results. If you believe something is too big for you, you will unconsciously behave in ways that confirm that belief. You will hesitate. You will procrastinate. You will avoid risks. But if you believe that you are capable of becoming more, you will act differently. You will prepare. You will persist. You will adapt. Your destiny is not something mystical or predetermined. It is built through decisions aligned with a bigger vision. When you elevate your beliefs, you begin to align your habits with your future rather than your past. You stop identifying with old limitations and start identifying with the person you were becoming. It is easy to be influenced by your environment. If no one around you thinks big, thinking big can feel uncomfortable. If no one around you has achieved something extraordinary, it may seem unrealistic. But history is filled with individuals who refuse to let their environment define their ceiling. Your dream should challenge you. It should stretch your identity. It should demand growth that feels slightly beyond your current ability. That tension is not a sign to shrink, it is a sign to rise. When you increase the level of your beliefs, you begin to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You interpret failure as feedback instead of final judgment. You stay committed when results are slow because your vision is stronger than temporary setbacks. Lowering your dream might make you feel safer in the short term. It reduces pressure, it avoids criticism, but it also reduces fulfillment. Deep down, you will always know you settled. Do not adjust your dream to fit your life. Adjust your life to fit your dream. Expand your mindset, strengthen your conviction, align your daily actions with your higher vision. When your beliefs grow, your reality begins to transform. You were not meant to shrink your ambition to match your present. You were meant to grow into your future.
Every meaningful goal demands more than inspiration. It demands endurance. It demands the ability to continue when excitement fades, when results are slow, and when obstacles seem relentless. Anyone can begin. Very few are willing to continue. If you truly have direction, passion, and a clear goal, then quitting cannot be part of your strategy. Not because the road will be easy, it won't, but because the alternative is living with the knowledge that you stopped short of your potential. There will be moments when progress feels invisible, days when your effort seems unrewarded, times when doubt grows louder than confidence. These are not signs that you should stop. They are tests of commitment. The journey toward anything worthwhile is rarely a straight line. It is filled with setbacks, adjustments, and lessons disguised as failures. Persistence means showing up when you don't feel like it. It means working when motivation is low. It means staying disciplined when emotions fluctuate. Motivation is temporary. Commitment is a decision. Winners are not driven by constant excitement, they are driven by clarity of purpose. When you have a strong direction, you understand where you are going. When you have passion, you know why it matters. When you have a goal, you know what you are building. Together, these three elements create responsibility. You owe it to yourself to see how far you can go. Giving up might offer temporary relief. It removes pressure. It quiets fear. It allows you to return to comfort. But that relief is short-lived. Eventually, regret replaces it. You begin to wonder what could have happened if you had continued. That question can stay with you for years. Persistence does not mean ignoring reality. It does not mean repeating the same mistakes. It means adapting without abandoning the mission. It means learning, improving, and adjusting while staying loyal to your vision. Flexibility in method is wise. Quitting on your goal is not. Every person who has achieved something meaningful has faced moments where surrender felt tempting. The difference is that they made a decision. Stopping was not an option. They understood that success is often a matter of lasting longer than the difficulty. There is strength built through persistence that cannot be gained any other way. You develop resilience, you build mental toughness, you increase your capacity to handle pressure. Each challenge you endure makes you more capable of handling the next. Direction keeps you focused, passion keeps you energized, a clear goal keeps you disciplined. When these are aligned, quitting becomes inconsistent with who you are becoming. The path may take longer than you expected. It may be harder than you imagined. You may have to reinvent yourself along the way. But as long as you continue moving forward, you are progressing. If you truly believe in your destination, then commit fully. Remove quitting from your vocabulary. Decide that no matter how many times you must adjust, learn, or rebuild, you will continue. Persistence is not just a strategy, it is a mindset. And with it, you give yourself the greatest chance to reach the life you envision. Many people spend years waiting for the right moment. They wait for permission. They wait for recognition. They wait for someone to notice their talent and open a door for them. But the world rarely works that way. Chances are not handed out simply because you hope for them. More often than not, they are built through initiative, courage, and persistence. The world does not automatically provide opportunity. It responds to action. If you sit back and wait for ideal conditions, you may wait forever. There will always be uncertainty. There will always be competition. There will always be reasons why something might not work. Those who move forward anyway are the ones who shift their circumstances. Creating opportunity begins with responsibility. Instead of asking, "Why hasn't anyone given me a chance?" ask, "What can I do with what I have right now?" That shift in thinking is powerful. It transforms you from a passive observer into an active participant in your own life. You may not control the economy, the industry, or other people's decisions, but you control your preparation. You control your skill development. You control your consistency. And preparation meets opportunity more often than luck does. Sometimes creating opportunity means starting small. It means building something from nothing. It means offering value before recognition comes. It means knocking on doors, and when they do not open, building your own entrance. History is filled with individuals who were not invited into rooms of influence. Instead of accepting rejection as final, they built new rooms. They launched their own projects. They started their own businesses. They created platforms where none existed. They refused to believe that access was limited to the chosen few. Finding a way requires creativity. Creating a way requires courage. When the path is unclear, most people retreat. They interpret obstacles as signals to stop. But obstacles are often signals to innovate. If one method fails, try another. If one door closes, look for a window. If no path exists, carve one. This mindset removes excuses. It replaces "I can't because" with "how can I?" It shifts your focus from limitations to solutions. And once you adopt that perspective, you begin to see possibilities others overlook. Of course, creating opportunity is not easy. It demands effort without immediate reward. It requires belief before validation. It forces you to move before guarantees exist. But that is precisely why so few people do it, and why those who do stand out. Waiting feels safe. Creating feels risky. But waiting places your future in someone else's hands. Creating places it in yours. If you cannot find the exact opportunity you want, design one. If the system does not support your vision, build your own structure. If no one invites you, show up with undeniable value. You are not limited to what is offered. You are limited only by what you are willing to attempt. Either find a way to reach your goal or create one. The choice determines whether you live by circumstance or by intention.
Now I want to hear from you. Do you really believe that anyone can achieve their dreams if they just work hard? Or is success mostly about luck, connections, or timing? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I love reading them and debating with you. Some of you will say it's impossible without privilege. Others will swear that grit beats everything. Which side are you on? And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join this community of thinkers and doers where we challenge each other, push limits, and refuse to settle for mediocrity.
Your dream is not random. It is not an accident or a temporary distraction. The desires that stay with you for years, the ones that return no matter how many times you try to ignore them, are deeply connected to who you are. They reflect your values, your strengths, your curiosity, and your natural inclinations. In many ways, your dream is a mirror of your inner self. Think about what consistently draws your attention, what excites you, What kind of future feels meaningful when you imagine it? These patterns are not meaningless. They are clues. They reveal something about your nature. When you feel strongly pulled toward a certain path, it is often because that path aligns with your authentic self. Some people are naturally creators. Others are builders, leaders, healers, innovators, teachers, explorers. Your dream usually grows from the same source as your personality. It is an extension of your core. That is why ignoring your dream feels uncomfortable. You may try to convince yourself that it is unrealistic or impractical. You may suppress it in order to fit expectations. But deep down, there is tension, a quiet dissatisfaction, a sense that something important is missing. When you abandon a meaningful dream, you do not simply give up a goal. You distance yourself from a part of who you are. Over time, that distance can create frustration. You may succeed by external standards, yet still feel unfulfilled. You may achieve stability, yet lack excitement. You may appear accomplished, yet feel disconnected. This happens because your dream carries personal meaning. It represents growth in a direction that feels authentic. It challenges you in ways that match your potential. It calls you to develop abilities that already exist within you. Of course, dreams can evolve. They can change shape as you gain experience and maturity. But the underlying drive, the need to express certain talents or pursue certain purposes, often remains consistent. When you commit to your dream, you commit to self-expression. You allow your abilities to surface. You explore your limits. You build confidence not only from achievement, but from alignment. You feel energized because your actions match your inner values. Refusing your dream for too long can create regret. You might start wondering what could have happened if you had trusted yourself. You might question whether you settled out of fear rather than choice. Living in alignment with your dream does not guarantee ease or immediate success. It often requires sacrifice, discipline, and resilience, but it offers something deeper than comfort: integrity, the feeling that you are honoring who you truly are. Your dream is not separate from you. It grows out of your personality, your passions, and your perspective. It is shaped by your experiences and fueled by your imagination. When you protect your dream, you protect your identity. When you nurture it, you nurture your growth. And when you pursue it with courage, you step closer to becoming the fullest version of yourself. To abandon your dream completely is to silence a part of your own voice. To pursue it is to let that voice be heard. Every day, you are investing your time, energy, and attention into something. The question is simple: whose vision are you building? If you are not intentionally working toward your own dream, you are most likely contributing to someone else's. That is not inherently wrong. Collaboration and teamwork are powerful, but it becomes a problem when you completely abandon your own ambitions in the process. Time is your most limited resource. Money can be earned again. Skills can be developed. Opportunities can return. But time only moves in one direction. When years pass, they do not come back. That is why it is dangerous to postpone your dreams indefinitely while convincing yourself that someday will arrive. Many people settle into routines that feel safe. They focus only on income, stability, and external expectations. They tell themselves that as long as the paycheck arrives, everything is fine. But deep down, there is often a quiet question: is this really what I want to build? Working only for money is rarely enough to sustain long-term fulfillment. Money is important. It provides security, freedom, and options, but it does not replace purpose. It does not replace growth. It does not replace the sense of building something that truly reflects who you are. When your daily effort is disconnected from your deeper ambitions, burnout becomes more likely. You may feel productive but empty, busy but uninspired, successful on paper but restless in spirit. This is often a sign that your actions and your authentic goals are misaligned. If you do not define your own path, someone else will gladly define it for you. Organizations have visions, leaders have strategies, markets have demands. If you do not consciously protect your own direction, you can easily spend decades advancing someone else's dream while neglecting your own. This does not mean you must quit everything immediately or reject all structure. It means you must remain intentional. Even if you are building within someone else's system, ask yourself, am I also moving toward my own long-term vision? Am I developing skills that serve my future? Am I allocating time to what matters to me? Life is too short to wake up years from now realizing you lived cautiously instead of courageously. It is too short to silence your ambitions out of convenience. It is too short to measure success only by salary while ignoring satisfaction. There is nothing wrong with earning well, but earning without meaning eventually feels incomplete. True fulfillment comes when financial stability and personal purpose intersect. When what you do supports both your livelihood and your long-term vision. At some point, you must decide that your dream deserves space in your life, not just in your imagination, but in your schedule, in your priorities, in your daily effort. If you are going to spend thousands of hours working, let at least part of that work move you towards something you believe in. Life moves quickly. Make sure it is moving in a direction you chose.
Comfort feels safe. It feels predictable. It gives you control and reduces uncertainty. Inside your comfort zone, you know what to expect. You understand the rules. You rarely feel embarrassed or exposed. But comfort has a hidden cost. It limits growth. Growth begins where comfort ends. The moment you challenge yourself beyond what feels familiar, you activate progress. When you attempt something new, you risk failure. When you speak up, you risk criticism. When you pursue a bigger goal, you risk disappointment. But these risks are not signs that you should retreat. They are signs that you are stretching. Every new level of success requires a new level of discomfort. If you look back at your own development, you will notice a pattern. The skills you value today were once difficult. The confidence you have now once felt impossible. The experiences that shaped you were uncomfortable at first. Improvement always demanded stepping into uncertainty. The comfort zone is not dangerous because it is painful. It is dangerous because it is pleasant. It convinces you that staying the same is acceptable. It whispers that you have done enough. It encourages you to maintain rather than expand. But there is always another level. No matter how far you have come, there is more to learn, more strength to build, more discipline to develop, more courage to practice. The idea that you have arrived is often the beginning of stagnation. Progress requires continuous challenge. When you leave your comfort zone, you confront your limitations. You see where your skills are weak. You notice your fears more clearly. At first, this can feel discouraging, but awareness is powerful. You cannot improve what you refuse to face. Discomfort is a signal of expansion. It means you are operating beyond your previous identity. It means you are attempting something that demands growth. Instead of interpreting discomfort as danger, reinterpret it as development. Of course, stepping outside your comfort zone does not mean acting recklessly. It means taking calculated risks. It means choosing challenges that stretch you without breaking you. It means intentionally placing yourself in situations where growth is required. Most people avoid discomfort whenever possible. That is why those who embrace it stand out. They volunteer for responsibility. They pursue bigger goals. They seek feedback. They try again after failure. They understand that temporary unease leads to long-term strength.
The uncomfortable conversation builds communication skills. The difficult project builds competence. The ambitious goal builds resilience. Each time you push your limits, your comfort zone expands. What once felt intimidating becomes normal. But the cycle continues. Once the new level becomes comfortable, growth demands another step forward. If you want extraordinary results, you cannot live an ordinary pattern. Comfort may protect you from failure, but it also protects you from transformation. There is always a next level waiting. The only question is whether you are willing to step into it.
Your emotional state influences your decisions, your performance, and ultimately your results. Yet many people allow their emotions to be controlled by external events or other people's opinions. They react impulsively. They let criticism ruin their focus. They allow temporary frustration to dictate permanent decisions. This lack of control quietly limits their potential. Strength lies in control and discipline. You cannot always control what happens to you. You cannot control how others behave, what they say, or what they think. But you can control your response, and that response determines the direction of your life. When someone criticizes you, you have a choice. You can react emotionally, lose clarity, and act defensively, or you can pause, evaluate the feedback, and decide calmly whether it has value. When you face failure, you can interpret it as proof of inadequacy or as information for improvement. The event is the same, the meaning you assign to it is different. Emotional discipline does not mean suppressing feelings, it means understanding them. Emotions are signals, not commands. Anger may signal that a boundary was crossed. Fear may signal uncertainty or risk. Excitement may signal alignment with your goals. But none of these emotions should automatically control your behavior. Reactive behavior often leads to regret, a harsh word spoken in anger, a decision made in frustration, a goal abandoned in doubt. In contrast, controlled behavior builds trust, both in yourself and from others. When you respond with stability, you demonstrate maturity and leadership. Allowing others to define your emotional state gives away your power. If someone's opinion can ruin your entire day, they control more than their words. They control your mindset. If a small obstacle destroys your motivation, the obstacle has more authority than your purpose. Emotional strength is built through awareness. Notice your patterns. When do you lose patience? When do you feel insecure? What situations trigger doubt? Once you recognize these triggers, you can prepare for them. You can create strategies to remain steady under pressure. Discipline plays a crucial role. It is easy to act wisely when everything is going well. The real test comes during stress, disappointment, or conflict. Discipline means choosing long-term goals over short-term reactions. It means protecting your focus even when distractions are loud. High achievers are not emotionless. They feel deeply, but they do not allow emotions to dominate their direction. They use feelings as information while allowing logic and values to guide their decisions. Imagine the advantage of staying calm when others panic, of staying focused when others become distracted, of staying determined when others quit out of frustration. Emotional control creates consistency, and consistency creates progress. Your emotions are powerful tools. When unmanaged, they can sabotage you. When directed properly, they can fuel determination, passion, and resilience. Do not let circumstances or people dictate your inner state. Protect your mindset. Train your reactions. Strength is not loud, it is controlled. Master your emotions, and you master your direction.
If you want extraordinary outcomes in life, you must first think in extraordinary terms. Small goals produce small results. Moderate ambitions produce moderate success. The world rewards those who aim high, who envision outcomes that seem almost unreachable and who commit to achieving them despite the odds. Big results are never accidental. They are the product of vision, courage, and relentless action. Expect the best, but plan for the worst. Optimism alone is not enough. Hoping for the best without preparation is reckless. You must anticipate challenges, setbacks, and unexpected obstacles. Planning for the worst does not mean thinking negatively. It means being strategic. It means building resilience into your approach. When difficulties arise, as they inevitably will, you are not thrown off course. You are ready. You pivot, adapt, and continue moving forward. Ambition fuels action. A dream without ambition remains a fantasy. Big ambitions create energy and urgency. They push you to wake up early, stay focused, and work harder than most people are willing to work. Ambition gives meaning to effort. It transforms routine tasks into purposeful steps toward a larger vision. Every hour, every decision, every sacrifice becomes aligned with the goal you are striving for. Courage is essential. Bold actions accompany bold ambitions. To achieve significant results, you must be willing to take risks. You must act even when success is not guaranteed, even when others doubt you, and even when fear whispers that it is safer to stay still. Fear will always exist. Risk will always exist. But those who succeed treat fear as information rather than instruction. They move forward despite it. Ignite your dream. A dream must be alive in your mind every day. It must inspire excitement and urgency. It must feel real enough that it motivates consistent action. This ignition is not a single moment of inspiration. It is a daily choice to remember why you started, to visualize the outcome you desire, and to align your actions with that vision. When your dream is burning brightly, it guides you through challenges and fuels persistence when results are slow. Consistency compounds results. Big ambitions are achieved through repeated, disciplined action over time. There is no shortcut. You must do something every day, however small, to move closer to your vision. Daily progress builds momentum, and momentum amplifies results. Even when progress feels invisible, trust that persistent action accumulates impact. Expect challenges, but do not let them define you. The road to big results is never smooth. There will be critics, failures, and setbacks. What matters is your response. Those with grand ambitions anticipate adversity and use it as a tool for growth rather than an excuse for retreat. Planning for the worst allows you to face reality without losing sight of your vision. Ultimately, achieving big results is a combination of vision, ambition, courage, discipline, and consistent action. Dream boldly, prepare wisely, act daily, take risks, persist. Big results are not for the timid or complacent. They belong to those who ignite their dreams and fuel them with relentless ambition. If you want extraordinary outcomes, start by thinking bigger, acting smarter, and refusing to settle for less than your full potential.
Thanks for watching. If you found this video inspiring, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss new content that will push you to chase your dreams and level up your life. And while you're here, check out some of our other videos. We've got plenty of strategies, stories, and motivation to help you stay focused, overcome fear, and take bold action every single day. Your journey doesn't have to be lonely. Join our community. Keep learning and keep growing. Click on a video now and let's keep moving forward together.